Good morning.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm not in my seat. Let me make sure the volume's up. There we go. It's just Joann here today. Good morning,
And
everybody.
Joshua, good morning.
How are you? Happy almost Christmas.
Yes, it's almost here. Are you almost ready? I know I'm not. I still haven't mailed boxes yet. I haven't even packed boxes yet.
Do you get stressed in the holidays?
No, which is why I'm not ready.
Well, fair enough. There's so many people that get so stressed this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I hate that.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's supposed to be fun. I get it. It can be stressful trying to do last minute things and traveling, but technically the holidays are supposed to be relaxing.
That's right.
Right?
Yes, that's right.
Joyful.
Peace and joy and
Yeah,
all that. And it's hard to be that way when you're stressed.
Well, we're not stressed, and we're happy to be here. You usually start with a little joke, or last week you had a tidbit. Yeah, I don't know what to call that.
I don't know what. So anyway, I don't have anything today.
Okay. Well, that's the show.
But I wanted to make sure you knew that every day in this country has something to celebrate. And today, the day today is the official Oatmeal Muffin Day.
National Oatmeal Muffin Day.
National Oatmeal Muffin Day.
Break out the oatmeal muffins, guys.
And for that purpose, and also it's Hard Candy Day.
Oh.
So I brought you a little present.
Oh, get out of here. I love it. Hold on.
There's an oatmeal muffin.
I was going to say, is there an oatmeal muffin? Oh, hard candy. What's in the...
Oh, because the oatmeal muffin actually tastes better with cream cheese frosting.
Nailed it. I just had a conversation. Anything with frosting tastes better.
That's
Thank
right.
you. That's awesome. Well, now I feel horrible. I don't have a gift for you.
Well, it's because you didn't know it was Oatmeal Muffin Day.
I did not. That's fantastic. Another reason to celebrate the holidays. I love it. Thank you. That's awesome. There is a million of those too.
Yes,
When
there are.
I'm doing the sewing for charity events, I'll try to look in the month and see what sort of holidays to schedule around, but also maybe there's a theme, and there's so many random ketchup day.
Yeah.
And really goofy ones. I'm wondering whose job it is to create this.
I don't know, but I figured it was getting towards the end of the year and they were running out of ideas, and that's how they came up with oatmeal muffins.
That's how they did it. That's great. Well, before I jump into talking about kind of what's going on with the shop, this week obviously is the week before Christmas. So
That's right, get your projects done.
yes, last minute shoppers come in. We've been selling a ton of gift cards, which is always a safe bet, especially for the hubbies out there. I love it when the guys come in and they look around and I'm like, are you sure your wife doesn't have this? Because she's in here a lot.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I'll even go and do a check for them. But I say a gift card is always the safe bet.
Always the safest. Unless they're buying a sewing machine. A really expensive one.
That's true. I can almost, and I'll steer them in the right direction for sure. But you can always get a sewing machine. That's a good point. Well, and hey, I have a conversation with people. Can I return it if I don't like it, or if they don't like it because it's a gift? Absolutely. The last thing I want is for somebody to have something that they don't like. That doesn't help me. That doesn't, So let me just go to the classes calendar. Because obviously this month, we've kind of said it, not a lot of classes because everybody's traveling and busy, and our Monday sewing studio's been jamming though. It's been full, so that's been awesome.
That is awesome.
And the IQ design class, which was on Saturday, had a great, they learned a lot. I know IQ design is intimidating because it's a ton of information and people think it's difficult. So I love that we were able to at least crack the surface with education on IQ design, but I want to get into that a lot more next year in person because there's a lot to it. Yeah. So sewing studios, Saturday, the first Saturday in January, I'm going to go kind of fast through this, is our Tula Pink Club. We've talked about it. You do like Tula, correct?
Of course I do.
I know you had said I'm a traditional quilter. On here you said that, but you also get kind of funky. I've seen some of your color choices. You're an artist like I am. We like some things that are, I guess, out of the box. And in my opinion, Tula is always kind of pushing that envelope.
That's right.
And we have a lot of Tula fabric, and there's Tula designs, and so we want to get excited about Tula. So with Tony, we talked about the first episode, we're doing Tula Club. which I'm excited about. Sewing Studio is literally every single Monday. We're going to do a big bag talk, which people are asking questions about making handbags, and there's so many patterns. Do you do bags?
I do not.
I didn't think so.
I have one bag. It's called a schlep bag. Schlep bag, and it's really kind of cool in how it comes together. But it's very simple. It's just a kind of a cool little tote bag, and that's all I make.
Fair enough.
Just not a bag person.
Well, so like we do a lot of bianni classes, and I'm getting into something called Emmeline. I think I'm saying that right. I've heard about something tomato. Why am I brain fart? Anyway, all sorts of different bag patterns and designs, but some people struggle with some of the basic like zippers, for example, techniques. And so Cindy Elliott is a bag pro, and so she's going to be having a class for us, and that starts on the 18th of February, which I'm excited about. And it's a 3-session class.
You know, one of the things I really like about Cindy is the way she approaches it. It makes you feel like you can do it. I'm totally intimidated by some of those bindings and things that you put on the outside, and I just don't want to take the time to learn it. But when I've talked to her about it, I've thought, oh, well, maybe I could do this. It couldn't be that hard.
Of course you could. Well,
but she makes it sound like that. She makes it sound like you can do it.
She does make everything look and sound easy. But that's encouraging, right? I mean, that's kind of what you need. And I'm going to go back and look. Hello to everyone. Sorry, we're going lightning fast, so I'll chime in and say hello. And please give us suggestions and comments as usual. Deb Canham, speaking of bag classes, it's a 2-day event. We actually have, I think, 2 spots left. We had to change the date. So if you're not familiar with Deb Canham, well, go check her out on Facebook. She does a ton of live videos. She is awesome, a wealth of knowledge. And if you are looking to expand your serger knowledge and learn some new techniques, that's the class. She's awesome. Are you familiar with Deb?
I am not.
Well,
she's a bag person, though.
Yeah, right. And so that is the 20th and the 21st. It's 2 days, and it's all inclusive. So we're doing lunch and everything because it's a big event, and we want you just to come and focus on learning and having fun. So reach out if you have any questions on that. 2 spots left. What are we doing on Fridays, by the way? Friday
is going to start up again in January, starting the first week in January, and we will be doing a quilt, which next week I'll be able to start giving you samples for, but not today. It's not a beginner class. It moves a little bit more towards an intermediate, but it's fun, and we hope you'll join us. We have a small group that's already started there, and we would love to have more people join.
Yeah, so a while back, Joann started doing her quilt classes on Fridays, and then we kind of sat down and she approached me, hey, can I just continue this? So essentially Fridays have become Joann Lamb quilt day. But it's nice because we started a group of beginner quilters, and you've seen them grow, and it's really cool.
Absolutely. Some really, and very quickly, you know, a couple of the women had really just made one quilt, and just one basic quilt, and they have moved on to making some really pretty things now. It's been encouraging to see that. It's one of the fun things about teaching, is seeing that growth.
Yeah, it's really, really cool to watch, and they're having so much fun. I mean, I love seeing that. So, so stay tuned, I guess I will say, for Joann's classes, because a lot of people, and I ask all the time, what classes do you want? What are we missing, or what is it you'd like us to offer? And more quilt classes. But that's tricky because I don't know what kind of quilt classes. In fact, we have that conversation. Constantly.
Yeah. What is the class that's going to meet that people are just going to say, oh, yes, that's a class I want to take.
I love that quilt. I want to take that class. Or, you know what, I heard a lot of people say I want more advanced classes. And then, of course, we always get beginner quilt requests. So we're working on it, right?
Yeah, we are. And we do want to do a panel class. We haven't come up with a date for that. But that would be like a 3-day class, 3-week class, and we would pretty much do it so that you bring your panel, you bring the panel you want, and then we work on how to make that into a nice quilt. And there's a lot of basic things that you need to know with a panel in how to prepare your fabric and things like that so that it comes out the way you want it to.
And we have a lot of panels that are really cool. In fact, if we had planned right, Maria's actually working on one that we were talking about. And what you can do with panels is it's fun. I love the artwork on panels. We were just having this conversation. I don't love there's so many panels, and for me they get boring. But
they do.
When you see people chop them up and what they do to them, for example, which I'll talk about this in just a sec. Actually, technically, this wasn't a panel. It's running yardage. But what you can, just by adding a nice border to something, you can. I'm learning to love panels, and we've got a ton of them.
You kind of have to. And this one really is very basic. It just has the two borders on it at the fabric in the center, which is the town, and then a border here, and then a wider border here. But what makes it really cool is the scallop border that goes around it. And Josh will be telling you a little bit about how she did that. But but there's always something you can do with a panel to make it really pop and make it, more than just a panel.
Yeah, well, I'll just go ahead and jump into it. So Kristen is quite talented, and she and I we loved this collection, and this is part of that collection. It's not a traditional Christmas color combination, which I, of course, loved. And we were like, nobody can really see what this running yardage is on the bolt. And so we opened it up, and this was her brainchild, and she put the borders on it. And Joann quilted it here, which you can't see, but it's going to be hard on the camera to see, but there's snowflakes. It's phenomenal. And then Kristen had in mind, let me do these scallop, I guess, border binding, right? Scallop binding, is that the correct terminology?
The border and the binding goes on, but the border.
Because it's scallop. And then we use the Tula pink to really highlight. I absolutely love it. It's super soft and cute and pretty. But she used, I don't want to mess this up, the Creative Grid Scallop Template ruler. Ruler. By Krista Moser, which we do have these coming in. And this was the medium depth, I think, is the way to describe that.
And you get all those depths on that one ruler.
On the one ruler, there's a shallow, a deep, and then this is the medium. So if you've got more yardage, obviously you use a deeper. So it's really cool, and I absolutely love it. Love the fabric. The ruler is coming, so that's really cool. But I just thought it was a really nice presentation, and it's perfect for this season.
Perfect for Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I was going to talk about. That we just did it.
It's done.
Okay, hold on. Are we not saying hello to everybody? Good morning, Jan, Patricia, Irene. If I missed you, my apologies. I hope you guys are doing awesome today. I know I've got to figure out how I can see this a little better. It's all right. We're working on it. We're figuring it out. So back to a couple of classes, and then I'm going to shut up on that. Because honestly, January, we have a lot of classes, and I don't want to just spend the entire morning going over every class, but I'm trying to go rapid fire. We've got a Serger Club. We've got a Kimberbell Embroidery Club, which the Kimberbell Embroidery Club, there's exclusive designs for dealers only. In other words, you guys can only get the designs via a dealer, which is really cool. We just finished the first 6, and so they loved it. They wanted to keep going. So we're going to continue on with the Kimberbell dealer exclusives. Basically, it's turned into a Kimberbell club.
Wow, you got all kinds of clubs.
Yeah, well, I like clubs. I love the idea of people coming back in constantly. The sewing studio, they're here every Monday.
Yeah.
And even though it's the same awesome group of people, it's open to everybody. And so hopefully people come in to shop and what's all this noise going on over here? People cackling and...
Yeah, I think the energy in a shop makes a difference as to how people want to come.
Yeah, and there's that camaraderie, and that's why I think I like the club. And I think that's why people like clubs, because they get to know each other, and they're, it's sort of a routine. And as long as you can keep learning stuff. I don't want a club to get stagnant.
Right.
And so you got to make sure, and that's why we have awesome educators and people involved. I mean, that's the...
Yeah, and I will say that we just moved here last January, and one of my criteria for a place to move to was that there be a good quilt store. And that's because with the classes like that, that's where a lot of my friends have come from. The people that I enjoy being with, I've met here, and it's an important community that builds up in a shop.
So she came down to Florida to scope it out. She met me and she said, "I'm moving." Right? Is that the order of?
It's not exactly how, but very close.
Sounds good, right? Okay, awesome. Well, so what would you like me to do first? So I'm a little late to the game, but it's just been kind of crazy. The 12 days of Christmas. All the shops do a 12 days of Christmas. Clearly, we don't have time to do 12 days of Christmas, but I do have 12 gift items. So 12 gifts for Christmas.
All right, let's see what you got.
Should we rock through that now, and then we can get into what you're doing? Well, this is my gift, so I'm not giving that away. I'll put that one over here. So we'll do rapid. Here, let's get your bucket first. Here, hand me that one. So we have all sorts of notions, and that's just candy. You can put that back over there.
Chocolate.
Help yourself. We have all sorts of notions. In the notion world, just accessories, there's so much stuff in the sewing.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't have it all. In fact, not a day goes by somebody comes in and says, "I'm looking for this one." I'm like, add it to the list. Mm-hmm. Or, I don't think we have that. Yes, we do. Mm-hmm. I didn't know, so there's so much. So I tried to grab things that I thought are either new or that we sell a lot of that make sense and are, just awesome. So handy zipper jig. You know what that is?
I've seen it out on the counter, and I don't do zippers, because you don't usually put one on a quilt.
Right. So we did it at the Jacksonville Quilt Show. We did a demo on this. It's literally like a third hand. So you place this here, you put the zipper pull in the little slot, and then 45-degree angle, the zipper goes. It's super easy. I'm going to rapid fire, so I'm not going to do a demonstration. If you guys want a demonstration of any of this stuff, well, obviously you can come to the store, but I'm happy to do one on another episode of any of this stuff. I figure if we do a demo of all this, it'll be a 4-hour show. So.
That's probably true.
But they're phenomenal. We sell a ton of them. Christy Mayer, our our bag lady, I didn't create that name, by the way. She is our Bianni educator. Is the one that actually, her and Maria were talking. Anyway, we sell a ton of them. They're awesome, and they swear by them. So that's number one, handy zipper jig. This is a new product from Dime. We just got it in, so I don't know much to talk. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. Mm-hmm. So if you're not familiar with the King Star, the metallic thread that Dime makes that we carry, it's the greatest metallic thread on the planet. You do not have to slow your machine down. If you're embroidering with it, there's no breaks. It's phenomenal because it's made out of the same, I'm going to butcher it, silk that kimonos are made out of. So it's super soft, where most metallic thread is really wiry. Mm-hmm. This is not. It's awesome. And so what they've done is they've paired it with some nice vinyl. Make your applique sparkle. So this is a shimmer and shine vinyl applique kit. Awesome addition from Dime. Dime comes up with really cool kind of bundles and product ideas.
And they're for embroidery, right?
Yeah. Well, so Dime embroidery, pretty much everything that they do is geared towards embroidery.
Okay.
But technically, we were talking about bags. Vinyl can be used for more than just embroidery. Mm-hmm. But the idea is that they've matched the colors together. Mm-hmm. And it would just look nice while doing applique, which
okay.
We don't do much hand sewing, so when we're talking about like applique or embroidery or anything, or quilting, we're talking about machine.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if I want to get into the hand sewing game. That's just more notions and things and I don't know anything about it. So
there's you need a thimble.
A thimble. We have a thimble. Actually, we've got a nice leather thimble. We have some needles, but anyway, all right. So speaking of Dime, these are awesome. So it's a kit, or a set, I should say, of 4 hoops, or 4 pressing pads for the hoop. That's a mouthful. So does that make sense to you? Not at all. Hoops in press pads. So obviously you know what a pressing mat is. Mm-hmm. Well, when you hoop, this is 5x7, 6x10, 8x8, and 8x12. So those are the sizes of your hoops. The nice thing is if you're doing a design, especially an in the hoop design, sometimes you need to iron things. Well, you don't want to unhoop your...
Right.
So this literally fits in the size of the hoop. So you just place your hoop right on top of it. You can iron and then put the hoop back on the machine without taking out your fabric.
Oh.
Which is awesome. These are just the most common hoop sizes, the 5x7, 6x10. So all of you in the Kimberbell Club, by the way, this would be an awesome idea. So
good for them.
Good gift idea. Anybody that's embroidering or, oh my gosh, this is a heavy one. Hold on, I'm going super fast. Am I missing anybody here? Good morning, Galshan. That's my wife. Morning, babe. Hey, Ruth, Patricia. Okay, feel free to just yell at us, try to stop us. I'll try to pay attention if you have questions or if I'm going too fast. This is a big, heavy one. Weightless quilter tabletop.
Oh, I've heard people talk about this.
Okay, so I thought it was going to be a much larger package because I had heard about these as well. And I don't know if the camera can pick that up okay.
But this is for people who are doing the quilting on their domestic machine. Is
Correct, not on a long arm. And like there you can see it in the picture. What happens when you're quilting, or doing free motion work on your single needle sit down with, in other words, they call them domestic machines. The quilt is too large, so it pulls. It falls over the edge, and when you don't want that.
Yeah, and that's the biggest deterrent, I think, for quilting on your own machine is trying to manage the weight of the quilt and how it pulls and how it interrupts your actual quilting. So this, from what I understand, is just a great
it's awesome, very easy to install, and actually we're going to open one of these up and put it on the floor so that we can actually see them. We just got 3 of them in, and I think we have 2 left. It's a new thing, a new packaging from Dime, so I'm excited about it. Everybody's so terrified of, I shouldn't say everybody, a lot of people are terrified of free motion quilting. They're afraid just to do it. Drop the feed dog, put on the right foot. You have to understand,
that works for me.
Yeah, well, true. But there's a difference because, what you can do on your long arm versus what the size of the quilts. People always talk about and it's true, when you're free motion, they're tense. And so it literally causes pain in your neck. So I wouldn't encourage doing a king size quilt on a domestic machine, personally. But smaller quilts, sure. Or if you don't have a long arm, or
and
or
you don't want to pay somebody to do it.
Well, there's that too.
There's lots of reasons to do your own, and a lot of people just want to do their quilt from start to finish. They don't want to have anybody else participating with it. So something like this, I think, is a great.
I'm excited. We're gonna here, I'll put that over here. All right, another self-explanatory one, but a really good quality, there you go, rotary cutter. So this thing's heavy. This is what everybody's familiar with creative grids, most likely. We were actually just talking about the rulers. This rotary cutter and case, it comes with a nice hard case, feel the weight of it. For a rotary cutter, it's solid metal. It's really heavy duty. Now, not that you need necessarily heavy duty to be cutting through fabric, but this thing cuts and lasts a long time. I know people go through rotary cutters, those little cheap ones. They'll go through them constantly, and it can be dangerous. So you need a good rotary cutter.
Yeah.
As a quilter, right? Isn't that like one of the main tools?
Yeah, it is. And this one sets up so if you're left-handed or right-handed, you can adjust it so that it's good for using in either direction. Yep.
It says weighted for balance and stability. Right air left-handed. That's nice.
Yeah. And I like the weight. I like the heavier rotary cutters because you don't have to use as much pressure with your hands. The rotary cutter, as long as you've got a sharp blade on there, does a lot of the work for you.
Absolutely. All right. Throw that one there. I'm not counting, so I hope I got 12. Okay, I'm hoping you might be able to explain this one to me. Maria got these, by her face. It's all right. So quilting paper, trace, stitch, quilt, tear, pounce.
Okay, so if you're doing your own quilting,
Yep.
Whether it be on your domestic machine or whether it be on your if you have a long arm that doesn't have a computer on it, you can trace your pattern onto this Golden Threads quilting paper, and then you you can stitch over it, I think.
Yeah, so I had a Java with Josh, and I talked about it, and I think that they explained this to me. So I'll try to put it the way my brain understood it. Mm-hmm. Essentially, you can lay it down. I could draw my design on this. I could stitch directly on this, and it tears away. So it's essentially a cheat sheet.
Yeah. I've heard this is really good. The Golden Threads paper, I've heard that people really like it. So
this was a Maria Ward grab. She's the one who saw it, recommended it. I brought it in. Now, I will say that I had a handful of people at the Java with Josh, if I remember. They said, oh, yeah, I got some of that. I've never used it. I never opened it. Mm-hmm. I hear that on a daily basis. People go, that's a great idea. I think I'll use that.
Yeah, and they never do. So
use it.
Yeah.
Right. Get out. And so come in on Sewing Studios, come in on Mondays to bring all the notions that you have at home that are unwrapped or unopened.
What a good idea.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And open them and try them out, play. Yeah. And that way we're here if you have questions. Mm-hmm. Plus there's, the group of ladies that come in, they're awesome. It's a wealth of knowledge. So quilting paper, there's 3 different sizes that we carry. Apparently this stuff's awesome. I also, I'm easy to say, right? Yeah. I need to be opening this stuff up and playing with it myself. I understand. Before I get into that, look at these cups. This is one. We brought all these fun cups, which you probably can't see. Fabric Cadabra. These are great gift ideas, by the way. These are perfect. Behind every magnificent quilter is a substantial amount of fabric. What's that one say?
The Quilted Sisterhood. We are they who love to quilt, a sisterhood stitched together with love and friendship.
She who loves the comfort her quilts bring.
Okay.
But I think like
the
old
other
English.
The other side is really kind of cool.
Quilting is so much more than stitches. It's the comfort, not only to those who wrap themselves in her work of art, but the joy she gets from making, giving, and sharing a gift of her heart and hands. Oh, it's nice. And they're really cute. So we've got a whole bunch of these fun coffee mugs and travel mugs, which when you come to Sewing Studio or Joann's classes, you can
bring that so you don't spill your coffee
right.
or whatever.
And we got coffee in the kitchen waiting for you. I haven't been looking. Shame on me. I think we're okay. No one's got any questions so far. Good morning, Ruth, if I didn't say good morning to you. All right, lightning speed here. Wonder Guard thread wrap sheets. Are you familiar?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So we had Nina Klottfelter down. These things are phenomenal. We sell out constantly, but we have them back in stock. They're awesome. You wrap them around your thread, and you can sew with it. It keeps the thread from just going all over the place, but it's a nice even feed off of the spool. These are phenomenal, and they're back in stock. Let's see, seam ripper. You got to have, just like the rotary cutter, you got to have a good seam ripper. This is the Gypsy Quilter Seam Fix It. I don't know. These have the nice grip, which is always funny to me. I don't know what you guys are doing where you need a good grip on a seam ripper. How maybe it's just anger.
Well, it's anger.
It's anger. Yeah.
But the other thing to remember on seam rippers is they do get dull and they do need to be replaced. So that little seam ripper that you got with your sewing machine 10 years ago probably needs to be replaced. So there, good seam ripper is a good thing.
And we got a handful of different sizes, but these are the ones that people seem to like. Compact screwdriver set, little mini screwdrivers. This will save you from having to drive to see me just so that I can use my little screwdriver to undo those 2 little screws for your needle plate, because even though you should bring your machine in every single year for repair to our technician, to a professional, you should still clean your machine regularly, correct? Mm-hmm. All right, so it's like a flathead and a Phillips head, little mini screwdrivers, so you can get in underneath the needle bar and all those hard to reach places. These are a must have.
Yeah, and I love these because if you don't have these, then you have to use a dime
Right.
which is really, really hard. I guess my fingers just aren't thin enough to really maneuver that dime around. So I really like these. These are much easier to work with.
And sometimes the technician, they tighten them
Down.
Sometimes it's hard to loosen, and this gives you at least a little bit more grip.
Yeah.
Plus, they're cute little screwdrivers.
Yes, they are.
More stuff. Okay, some Martelli stuff. Mat scrubbers. So, have you ever used these?
No.
So, after you're using your Creative Grids ruler or rotary cutter, your Martelli rotary cutter, whatever rotary cutter you're using on your cutting mat, over and over and over and over again, you get the indentions and the scrapes and scratches. Well, this mat scrubber will take those out.
And I'm betting that if you happen to use Minky and you go to trim it, you always get these little ridges with Minky stuck in it. I bet this would get that out really well.
It does, actually. We have some of that Shannon, the cuddle. And although it's gorgeous and it feels great and I love it on a quilt, when we cut it, it's everywhere. And it does, it gets embedded in the mat. So this literally takes it right out. So I'm sure the Minky's the same.
Yeah.
Same thing. Okay, wow, are we going that fast? Okay, Wonder clips. I hate pins. I hate pinning, which is why I was like, oh, I'm going to do some garment sewing. There's so much pinning involved in garment sewing. It drove me crazy. But Wonder clips, a lot of people choose to use the clips versus the pins. Are you a pinner or?
I use them both.
Do you? Is there a certain time? Is there a specific reason why Wonder clips were made where it makes it easier?
I think it depends upon, I've been sewing since this forever. I don't even want to talk about how long. But so I've been using pins, and so pins are kind of a natural to me, but I always use these when I'm binding. Especially around the corners, I'll put a clip here and the very point, and one here and here. I love them for bindings, and I use them for other things too. But that's the biggest place I use them.
That makes total sense to me, especially on the edges there. Easy to take off. You're not stabbing yourself.
Right. And I don't know if you have one of these machines. I have a Bernina that wasn't working well. I was having a lot of trouble with it, and so I brought it in to be repaired. And when the technician gave it back to me, he said, stop putting pins on the top of your machine. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, apparently I had 20 pins that had fallen down into my machine.
I remember this.
So clips are good. So now when I work on that machine, I tend to use clips more than anything.
That's still some supernatural. That's paranormal. I don't know how that happened.
I don't know
weird.
either. That was really weird.
That was bizarre. I remember. Okay, awesome. And the last, save the best for last, right? Actually, it was just the last one I grabbed. But I love this stuff. So suds. Are you familiar?
Yes.
Suds. People are like, why do you have soap? Okay, so originally I got this because I was doing vacuum repairs, and I was like, this is great to clean vacuums with. And we have a 4-year-old, so we found, this is great. If you dilute it in water, it gets the stains off the couch and fingerprints. Also, it cleans the screens of your phones, and the stuff's phenomenal. I don't do this demo, but when I met him, he came in, literally took a scoop and put it in his mouth. It's edible. Means it's not poisonous. Don't eat it. It's not delicious. But it's all natural. There's no chemicals. But what it's turned into is for the embroiderers who get gunk all over their hoop. Because they're using 505 spray or whatever. This cleans it better than anything I've ever seen. This stuff is phenomenal. It can also clean your fabric. If you've got stains, if you're drinking coffee around your quilt, which you shouldn't do. But this stuff is phenomenal. So come in and we'll demo some for you if you're looking for a good cleaning substitute, especially for your sewing machine. Now, I haven't used it. I'm a little nervous, but they swear, and a lot of dealers carry this around the country to clean off the larger machines with the big screens.
Yeah.
They say this will clean it.
Oh, really?
Still makes me nervous. It's a really expensive screen.
Yeah.
A $20,000 sewing machine, put some soap on it.
Why not?
So,
But you can do that on your machine.
yeah. So don't quote me on that one. I will test it on maybe if we ever get a trade in that's no good or something. But this stuff works on almost everything. It's awesome. Even if you don't use it for your sewing machine, everybody needs a good cleaner around the house.
Cool.
I think that was 12.
I think we're up to fabric. Just so you know, we already showed you that quilt there.
Yeah.
This quilt is, this was one of my bucket list quilts. It was one of the things when I first started quilting, I wanted to make sure I made one of these. And I now have made two. This is a plug, once again, for AccuQuilt, because although this was all hand cut with templates, AccuQuilt now has a quilt where you can just cut all this, and you can get all your cutting done all precise, and so that it comes together very easily. And that's what I'm using on the next one of these I'm making, and I love it. It made a big difference. This is all gentle curves. It's not a beginner quilt. Once again, it's a little bit more of a challenge.
Yeah,
but,
all those curves. Yeah.
But definitely a fun quilt to make, and definitely a fun quilt to look at, because you start seeing all the circles going in different directions, and they're kind of fun.
It's such a cool effect. I love the look of that, especially when you step back from it and you start seeing the shapes and the circles inside the circles.
Exactly.
And it's really cool.
This is one of the quilts that I have like 5 of my relatives want this when I die.
Well, you're going to be waiting a long time.
I hope so.
A long time.
Okay, up to fabric.
Yeah.
What do you want first?
Why don't you give me the dinosaur fabric, actually?
Okay.
So we'll figure out how to make this work. We have a lot of fabric coming in on a daily basis, constantly. Let me see if I can just put this up here. People have been asking for dinosaur fabric. So, and it's kind of hard to see, this is actually a panel, and shame on us for not opening it all the way up. But I just wanted you guys to see, you've been asking for it. We have dinosaur fabric in, and I'm very picky when it comes to a lot of different types of fabric, but especially like dinosaurs and little animal prints. The art has to be good. It has to either be really cute or really realistic, or the colors need to be nice. And I love this collection. So we're going to go kind of fast. There's the yellow with the little dinosaurs.
And little footprints there.
Dinosaur footprints. Feet print. Footprints. I don't know which one's correct. Super cute.
And a little border.
And then the border fabric. Let's see, can you see that? Let me look on the camera. Yeah, I think you can see it. It's really cute. It's got the, what is it, a little volcano?
Yeah, and the panel looks to me like it has road going around it. So, you know, you could make a quilt out of it for a little boy, give him a couple of cars so the cars can go along it, and look like it'd be really fun to make.
Oh, I've taken panels home, set them on the floor, and Casper's just, I mean, yeah. Now it's a play mat. So, Dashwood Studios. Oh my gosh. Try not to knock everything over here.
Now, is this like Moda? I mean, who makes this? Is this Dashwood? I'm not.
Dashwood Studios, yeah. So that is the company here. Can you guys see that all right? And I love their color choices. I was just telling Joann this. A lot of people know me for the kind of the bright, fun, funky taste, but I also love the more artsy, soft, really pretty collections. That's why I love Art Gallery. And Dashwood is right there with it. The artwork on it is phenomenal, but the colors are really unique. What's up, Vinny? The colors are really unique, and I absolutely love these.
Now, it doesn't say, but is this an organic fabric? I guess it would say if it was.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you can tell based on the price.
Okay, the organics are like
So
15
expensive,
something.
yeah. There's been a lot of collections with mushrooms this past year.
Yeah, go figure.
Strange, but it's funny. Like people, it'll go through. You'll have moths, bees, butterflies, mushrooms, and this has the cute little animals on it. How nice is that? And if you just look, see how all the colors together. They're so nice.
Now,
And it's much softer than a lot of the bright, fun, funky stuff, which I love.
now tell me something, and I'm putting you on the spot here because I didn't ask this before.
Ruh-roh.
Do you have other fabrics that will blend? Do you have blenders that will go with this?
We do. In fact, the better answer is we have a lot more blenders on the way.
Okay.
One of the things that I struggled with is trying to figure out which blender fabrics I should bring into the shop. Everybody had it was like 50-50. For example, there was grunge and Toscana here. So I said, okay, do you guys want me to keep grunge and Toscana? 50-50. Some people, no, she's shaking her head, no. So, and I wasn't sure what to do. I like the more fossil fern funky, but I got to remember, I will buy whatever print fabric I like, but as far as blenders, that's where I should listen because I'm not a quilter like this. So
Well,
I don't use a lot of blenders. Sorry, we're yapping. That's the darker.
my only input for blenders is that people get tired of them. So like grunge has been around. People love grunge.
I'll just move all these over
But
here.
people love grunge, but you know, they're going to want something new.
Well, and I had somebody just come in and ask for grunge, and I said I only have a couple things left. So, but what I did is I ended up ordering a lot of different types of blenders. So I'm trying to make everybody happy. You know what I mean? Instead of buying, we are the grunge store.
Yeah.
We are the whatever store. We're going to have a bunch of different types in order. So hopefully that way everybody can find something they like. So speaking of fun and funky, who doesn't love
Rainbow.
wild? Hey, are we back? Okay. I was frozen in the worst possible. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I think we're back. Vinny, I can't read your comment from here. Anyway, let me go through this. But what I was going to say is this is some fun. I don't know. This is almost like hippie-ish. You know what I mean? Like cool 70s. It's pretty opposite of what we just showed you, but that's kind of why I grabbed the novelty dinosaur print, the really pretty artsy print, and then you've got the fun, funky, rainbow of funk. I don't know. I love this stuff. It's awesome. And this is a Wyndham fabric. I can't remember what this line is called, what this collection's called, excuse me. We probably covered it up with the stickers too.
Multi-cubes on this one.
Multi-cubes. Look at that. I mean, come on. I mean, purple's my color, but...
That's an awesome print. That would look, I hate to say this, it would look wonderful on the back of a quilt. You know, you look at the front of a quilt and then you turn it around and it's like, surprise! So
I love, well, perfect. One thing I forgot to show, like this tree, this running little down here, that's the whole back. I love a good back. And people say, oh, the back doesn't matter. You know how many people walk over and go like, they do this? They want to see the quilting a lot of times, but it's part of your quilt.
That's right.
Even if it's a wall hanging, people will look at it. And
yeah, don't sell it
so
short.
Anyway, all right. There is a handful of more of other prints in that collection. I just wanted to bring some of them. So, dinosaurs, novelty. Novelty is tricky because there's just so much. But I think we've found a nice groove of the amount, certain amount of aquatic or ocean stuff because we're in Florida, but certain shops, like that's what they're known for.
Yeah.
So we're not really known as a specific novelty, shop. I try to just get a little bit of everything. And dinosaurs were in high demand, so we got some dinosaurs. The Dashwood's gorgeous, and that's awesome. And there's probably like 6 more collections, but again.
Yeah, and for
so
those if any of you like Charlie Harper, which I know where I came from, it was very hard to come by. And he's got some nice Charlie Harper fabric. And if you're not familiar with Charlie Harper, he was an artist that did some beautiful artwork with wildlife. He was very much a wildlife artist, did more modern interpretation of them. And he was very popular as an artist. And when he died, the fabric company started approaching the families, asking if they could reproduce his artwork in fabric. And initially they declined, and then they found a maker that would make them in organic fabric and do do justice to his philosophy of life. And his fabrics are just wonderful, and they're cool. They're very unique and very cool and fun to work with.
Yeah. I didn't bring a lot in because I wasn't sure, but I absolutely loved them.
Yeah.
So
make sure, take a look at it, even if you're just looking at it for, oh, there it is. That is interesting. Or, you may see something that you think, oh, that would be fun to work with.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about what you brought today. I know I went way longer than normal, but I wanted to show you all the new notions. So.
Yes, and I think that's a great idea. And being a shopping week, I think we did the right thing. We may want to wait on this until next week.
We totally can.
I think that's a good idea, because I think we're approaching a...
Yeah, we're going... If that clock is right, we're running 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Boy, sometimes you guys need to chime in and say, Josh, speed up or shut up.
Or slow down.
Or slow down, yeah. But the only thing that I saw is, how's it going? I hope you had I did have a good birthday. Thanks, Vinny. That was yesterday.
Happy birthday. I did not know that.
You brought me a birthday gift. I love it. So, but we talked about the quilts. That's good. We got a ton of the shopping ideas out. So I'm good with that. We can save that fun Joann's quilting tips and tricks tidbit. I don't know what we call that little segment, but I keep calling it tips and tricks, but I don't. It's
random ideas.
Random ideas.
Okay.
Okay, cool. We will be closed on Christmas Day, obviously. We'll be closed. I can't remember if we decided. I think Christmas Eve. Check the calendar. Check the website as well. I will update that here shortly. If anybody is, trying to get last minute shopping ideas, we're here the rest of the week. We may close early Christmas Eve or not at all. I haven't decided. I sometimes I forget, I have to make that choice.
That's right. You're in charge.
I'm the owner. I forgot.
That's right.
Oh, where's my wife when I need her? Tell me what to do. Okay. Well, then we're good.
Okay.
We'll have a Merry Christmas if we don't see you before then. But call us if you have any questions on any of the stuff that we were showing, the classes that we got coming up. Joann's classes will be posted hopefully next week. Awesome. So if you're looking to get into some quilting classes, clear your Fridays.
That's right.
Yeah. And then the panel class we'll let you know about. All right. Awesome.
Okay. We'll see you next week.
Have an awesome day, everybody. Take care. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy birthday. See ya.